everybody, and welcome to this special on Venus transiting in Libra. So this year, Venus transits in Libra from the 18th of September at 8:28 a.m. until the 13th of October at 31 minutes past midnight, when Venus then enters Scorpio. And remember, all times are in GMT's times, and all interpretation is based on where the planets or luminaries are in terms of constellational Vedic astrology, which differs from Western astrology. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the astrological meanings, the practical, worldly and materialistic and political, spiritual and esoteric meanings and all that good stuff of Venus's transit in Libra. And by the way, I'm Amani and I'm your karmic holistic astrologer. When Venus is in Libra, it brings sort of like balance. It's a harmonious energy, and it influences our relationships, our inner values, and our sense of aesthetics, beauty. It allows us to be more diplomatic in our conversations, interactions with others as well, on a holistic level, and we can find ourselves just more open to cooperating and seeking compromise in our relationships, and we can value peace and fairness above drama and getting our own way and doing too much technically. But we know we're all are only humans, and we sometimes don't always do what the planets want us to do. So on the practical level, because Venus in Libra increases our sense of style and appreciation for art and design, we can just find ourselves more drawn to beautifying our surroundings, investing in items, clothing, products, jewelry, food that bring us joy aesthetically and tastefully and sensually, and it can inspire us to develop a more refined taste and appreciation for the finer things in life. So we may just add a touch of elegance to our everyday experiences and just appreciate the simple beauty of nature, ourselves, our children or nieces or nephews, ants, insects, the grass, leaves. Politically, because Venus in Libra highlights themes of diplomacy, collaboration and justice, it pushes leaders to focus on more peaceful resolutions and create alliances that promote fairness in policies, and it can just encourage them to prioritise harmony and cooperating with other leaders and other people and those they serve, and they can just be more fair in their decision-making processes. On the spiritual and esoteric level, because Venus in Libra invites us to explore themes of balance, inner harmony and connection with others on a deeper level, it encourages us to seek unity within ourselves and the world around us, promoting more compassion, especially self-compassion, empathy for others and understanding, in our conversations and our relationships. So just a nice energy to resolve inner conflicts and conflicts in your relationships that you may have been putting off as well. Also, on the spiritual level, Venus in Libra encourages us to, appreciate the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of approaching life with grace and gentleness, and also appreciating the different sides of us, the ego, the side that wants to help others, the side that sometimes wants to overindulge, getting to know your strengths and weaknesses. So it is good for inner and shadow work as well, because it allows you to oversee yourself, overlook yourself in a detached manner as you observe your thoughts and your shadow, and not be too judgmental on yourself and others as well. So on a sort of like international level, on the esoteric meaning, because leaders can prioritise mutual cooperation and be more peaceful in negotiations, this energy brings international peace. It gives us a chance to choose, peace over violence, being calm over being angry, and just, finding more balance. And in personal relationships, it wants us to focus on finding common ground with our loved ones, as I said. And on the personal psychological level, it encourages us to find balance within ourselves, within our relationships, and pushes us to seek fairness above anything else, above our ego and stuff, as I said. So yeah, on the social collective level, because Venus in Libra highlights, themes of being diplomatic, understanding others, working with others, cooperating, it can just inspire us on the collective level to find peaceful solutions to group conflicts, workplace conflicts, stuff like that. And it can also create understanding between diverse groups. So maybe, groups that differ because of religions, gender identity, gender expression, sexual expression, and stuff like that, may have a better time of trying to understand in each other. And what we ultimately have to understand that, we're all human, and we all deserve the right to be who we are, as long as we do no harm to others or ourselves. I thoroughly believe that. And yeah, we may not understand what some people do, or we may not make those choices ourselves, but we all have to live in this world together, and Venus in Libra reminds us of that. So it's great for social movements, activism online, offline, that promote equality and justice, can get really good momentum at this time, as people can be more tuned to the importance of fairness and cooperation in society. And because symbolically Venus in Libra represents harmony, artistic expression and beauty, creativity can be increased as well, and we can just have more appreciation for art and stuff like that as well, music, and especially design and art and music that embodies balance and elegance as well. And we can find creative expression projects really fulfilling at this time. Can be really good to work through your emotional issues, or do artwork with family or your partner, do something creative together, to work through your emotions, especially if you're having a conflicted time, to ease off that conflict, as well as it promotes active listening and just using different techniques to find joy, inspiration, and resolve conflict. Emotionally, it wants us to find emotional balance. It can allow us to be more sensitive in our relationships, as we can feel more tuned to not only other people's feelings but our own feelings as well. As I said earlier, we can have more empathy, and this can just help us have more harmonious connections and interactions with others as well, and also can just make us more romantic as well, because we have an appreciation for beauty in all of its forms. It can help us deepen our emotional bonds and create a greater sense of connection within us and around us as well. So this is really good. So now I'm just going to sum up the positive, negatives, and the best use of Venus's transit in Libra's energy. So yeah, positively, it allows us to be fair and cooperate with others. We can find ourselves more open to seeking harmony and balance in our partnerships, and it's a great energy to use for social gatherings, romantic dates, and anything that requires a keen sense of style and balance. So good for kind of like poem writing, clothes design, architecture design, gardening, all that type of things, cooking, making love. Negatively, it can make us indecisive and people pleasing, and we can struggle with making choices and wanting to keep everyone happy, and this can lead to inner conflict and a lack of authenticity in our relationships. So it's crucial to be mindful of sacrificing our needs for the sake of maintaining harmony. harmony, as this can lead to resentment or imbalance in the long run. So the best way to use this energy is to focus on creating win-win situations in relationships, practice active listening, compromise where necessary, but also be assertive. Don't be a doormat, but don't disrespect other people as well. Appreciate the beauty in life and within yourself. Be open to other people's perspective, and also, remember that balance is key. Strive for harmony without compromising your own values and needs. But of course, if you are in a committed relationship or you've made commitments, then you have to sort of like honour your commitments, or if you are going to let your commitments down, do it in a balanced and harmonious and cooperative way. And by embracing the energy of Libra, the best use of it is to develop loving and balanced relationships in all areas of your life. So as I said, use this energy to resolve conflict. So I'm going to talk about the aspects that Venus makes when it enters Libra this year. So it makes a trine to Jupiter, that's separating at 5.17 degrees. Venus is also making a square to Pluto, that's applying at 5.34, and Venus also makes an opposition to Chiron, that's separating at 1.50. And Venus also makes a conjunction to the ascendant, so this is separating at 0.07. So Venus is trine to Jupiter, allows us, supports us being optimistic, supports us in finding balance in our relationships and within ourselves, and to take a sort of like creative look at our relationships, and supports our creative expression as well. We can also just feel like lucky in matters of the heart, in love and financial ventures. So this is really a good energy for us to, take a chance, maybe tell someone you like them, send a poem, something like that, come up with a creative date night, start that sort of like side hustle you've been putting off, or restart a creative project or something like that. Venus also makes a square to Pluto, so this allows us to be more intense, and also can bring power struggles to our relationship as well, because Venus is squaring Pluto. So partnerships, can get in the way, or your need to want to keep everything calm and cooperate, and just kind of people please can get in the way of you transforming the things that you need to transform. So maybe you've been putting off some psychological, emotional, spiritual development, but positively it gives us that strong desire for transformation and finding depth within ourselves and within our relationships as well. But we just have to watch out for being jealous, controlling, or people being dominant to us, and this can just bring about power struggles, as I said. So it's important for us to confront anything on any underlying issues in our relationship for our emotional, spiritual and psychological growth, rather than run from them, but to also try and confront them in a calm way as well, because Pluto's energy at sometimes can just make us a bit forceful. Venus also makes an opposition to Chiron, so this can highlight our insecurities or wounds in our relationships. It can bring up hurts or vulnerabilities that require our attention and compassion towards ourselves and others as well. And although it's bringing tension because Venus and Chiron are opposing, and then we've got the square to Pluto as well, it means that in your relationships you may get triggered, some of you may get rejected, some of you may try and express your emotions in a relationship and get rejected or not get that answer that you want, so just try and be as gentle with yourself as you can, and to engage in self-care and stuff. And just remember, we all make mistakes, and the most important thing is to try and be as vulnerable as you can with those you can trust. But the number one person you need to be vulnerable with at all times is yourself, so you can just be in tune with your moods and your wants and your needs and your desires and stuff. Venus also makes a conjunction to the ascendant, so it allows us to have more personal charm and attractiveness at this time. So this is really good, even You can have this aura of calmness, so this can attract people to you or make you get what you need at this time without, of course, using others and overstepping their boundaries and doing too much and stuff. But it kind of just gives us a collective magnetic energy that can help us draw things towards us effortlessly. And it can also make us make a good impression in social settings, in date nights and dating, and boosts our confidence and charisma as well. So yeah, and also just gives us the opportunity to leave a lasting impact on those around us as well. So now I'm going to talk about what a grand trine is in astrology, the positives and negatives of a transiting grand trine. So a grand trine in astrology is when 3 planets are in an equilateral triangle and they're each approximately 122 degrees apart. And this configuration creates a harmonious flow of energy between the 3 planets involved, enchanting their respective qualities. So positively, it can increase our creativity and productivity, and it can bring more emotional balance and stability into our life, especially in challenging times. So it's a nice, easy energy to work with. It can bring increased intuition and insight, so we can gain deeper insights into our life path and decisions, and this can help us make more informed choices and just become more balanced and stable within as well. But negatively, we can lack motivation and complacency because, trine energy comes easy, it's harmonious, not challenging, and this can cause us to be passive and unmotivated in going after our goals. This is why a lot of individuals with a lot of trines in their chart, trine and harmonious aspects like sextiles cannot use them because everything can come so easily. They're not aware and they can miss their opportunities, thinking they'll always come. There can also be an overemphasis on our comfort zone, and we can rely too heavily on what we know rather than newness, and this can make us be stagnant and miss opportunities. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the grand trine that's also happening when Venus enters Libra. So yeah, we've got the Sun, which is in the analytical Virgo, Pluto, that's in, the slow but steady Capricorn, and Uranus in Taurus, so it's sensual but also rebellious energy at the same time. So positively, it can bring more stability to our relationships as well as intensity. It's a great energy that supports us in our artistic creative activities as well, and it allows us to sort of deepen our existing or create profound emotional connections or have a renewed sense of passion in our creative expression or in our romantic expression as well, or in our commitment as well. Uranus in Taurus, which is retrograde, adds an element of surprise and innovation to Venus's aesthetic tastes, so it encourages us to experiment, especially with unconventional beauty standards, so going against the mainstream, or you may find yourself attracted to someone who you wouldn't normally be attracted to as well. The Sun in Virgo allows us to, focus on the finer details by being meticulous, doing our research, asking the right questions, because a lot of the times, especially when it comes to relationships, we don't ask the right questions, we just assume things, and then this can lead to us being hurt. So, the Sun in Virgo's practical energy allows us to be grounded and ask the right questions, and also be receptive to the answers as well, because sometimes we ask the questions but we don't quite brace ourselves for the answers that can come back, and it also just increases our ability to be in balance and harmony. But negatively, Pluto in Capricorn can add to the power struggles, and because of the square Venus is making to Pluto and the opposition Venus is making to Chiron, tyrant anyway, so this adds to the potential conflict and tension and power struggles that can come up. Uranus in retrograde in Taurus allows us to get out of our comfort zone and challenge our established values, but the Sun in Virgo's critical eye can amplify, our self-doubt and lead us to being too perfectionistic and can create obstacles in the pursuit of us finding balance and peace right now. So it's important to be open to conflict resolution, be gentle with yourself, as well as, try and do what you can to find that inner equilibrium, that inner balance, and to be fair to others as well. A stellium in astrology refers to a powerful cluster of planets that are closely grouped together in the same sign, house or degree orb. So if a planet's in the 29th degree of Gemini, and then we've got one planet in the 7th degree of Cancer, because those planets, let's say Venus in the 29th degree of Gemini and Saturn in the 7th degree of Cancer, they can still be in a stellium because they are within a degree orb range, and that's how stellium can happen when one planet's in one sign and another's in another sign. That's because they're still within that 10-degree conjunction range that we need for stellium. So stellium can have positive and negative implications, like all things in life and astrology. So positively, a stellium increases the traits associated with the planets involved, the degree orbs involved, or the house involved, creating a strong focus on those specific areas of our lives. It can signify intense determination, creativity, and give a deep sense of purpose in pursuing our goals, going after what we want. Negatively, it can bring challenges, a lot of challenges. It can amplify the negatives of all the planets, houses, or degree orbs involved, leading to an overwhelming amount of energy in these areas, and this can cause stress because of the imbalance of, too much of one energy surging on you, and so we may feel more pressure to live up to high expectations, or struggle with integrating the different energies represented by the planets within a transiting stellium. So at the time of Venus going into Libra this year, there's a stellium which involves the Moon, Saturn and the midheaven, that's all in Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces, as well as the North Node in Pisces. So the stellium between the Moon, Saturn, the midheaven, Neptune and the North Node in Pisces sort of like emphasises emotional depth, spiritual growth and karmic connections. So the Moon symbolises our emotions and inner world, Saturn represents our discipline and responsibilities, and the midheaven sort of like amplifies our goals and public image, and Neptune, brings themes of illusion. So the presence of the Moon in Pisces intensifies our emotional sensitivity, so we can just all be a bit touchy right now, sensitive to criticism, but it also increases our empathy in relationships. Saturn's influence pushes us to reevaluate our values and commitments in matters of love and harmony, pushing us to seek stability and structure in our interactions. The midheaven's alignment underscores the importance of finding balance between the personal and professional aspects of our relationships, and Neptune's influence adds a layer of us being idealistic, especially in the way we view things. We can ignore red flags, see everything with rose tinted glasses on and over romanticize things right now. But positively, it can just make us express love and affection in the right ways, and this can lead to increased creativity and spiritual connection with our partners. And the North Node in Pisces emphasizes us growing through having more compassion and selflessness in our relationships, and encourages us to embrace unity and understanding. when all of these energies interact with Venus in Libra, it wants us to sort of like be more balanced and supports us in being cooperative and to be able to respect each other and to create more meaningful connections. And we can just be, more diplomatic and focused on creating, harmony in our relationships because of the stellium, which is good. So counteracting that Venus, suppose, Chiron and square Pluto energy as well. So now I'm going to talk about the karmic meanings, karmic lessons, and what type of past life memories can come up when Venus is transiting in Libra. So because Venus in Libra can make us seek more harmony and balance in our relationships, we can have past life memories that come up related to partnership, dynamics, justice and beauty. So karmically it wants us to seek fairness and equality in our connections, and we may find ourselves drawn to resolving conflicts peacefully or striving for greater cooperation in our interactions. And one karmic lesson that can come up at this time is learning to develop, cultivate healthy boundaries, while also still creating intimacy and collaboration in our relationships as well. Also, past life memories where you struggled with finding a balance between giving and receiving in relationships may come to your mind, or you may dream about them, or external experiences may happen that reflect this, but you may not be consciously aware of them. So if you do struggle with giving and receiving, look at ways that you may have done this in this current life, and also think about past lives where you may have always did this as well, and thinking about how you can break that cycle, how you can give and receive in healthy ways to keep things equal and in balance as well. Also on the karmic level, because Venus in Libra brings to our attention the importance of aesthetics, how things look, appreciating nature, appreciating food, appreciating the sensual, appreciating yourself and others as well, and being diplomatic in our interactions, our conversations with others. You can recall past lives where you may have been involved in artistic projects, or you may have had struggles with being diplomatic while working with others in the team and stuff like that as well, or lifetimes where you had a strong sense of justice and beauty may come to your attention, giving you insight how you can bring more beauty into your life, or how you can become more sort of like justice orientated in your current life, because a lot of the times we can hide our true inner values to conform to others and stuff. So just think about how you can be true to yourself. Think about your inner values. Are they truly your own, or are there values, because Libra energy is very people pleasery, makes us kind of retract into ourselves and ignore our boundaries, and we may not assert ourselves as much as well. So just looking at the ways that you may people please a bit too much, that keeps you from your true self. Yes, it's good to be fair to others, but not if it takes away from you expressing yourself. If you're trying to please others and they're pleased by you not being yourself, then really you're not pleasing them, because you're only being what they want. And yes, some people get off on that, right? I mean, come on, we all live in the world. Some people just want us to sort of people please and like it that way, and don't want us to speak our truth. But just looking at how you can break out of that cycle, and ultimately transiting Venus in Libra gives us a chance to reflect on how our past experiences or our unresolved psychological, emotional and spiritual trauma have shaped our current relationship dynamics with others and ourselves, and how we can strive and create greater harmony within ourselves and our relationships as we move forward with our lives. So now I'm just going to talk about how transiting Venus in Libra affects our family, friendship, co-worker and or other types of relationships. So in terms of family relationships, it allows us to be more cooperative. We may find ourselves more inclined to resolve conflicts peacefully and strengthen our family bonds as well, because we're willing to understand and cooperate with others. But negatively, we can be indecisive or people please others because we don't want the conflict, and this can lead to unresolved issues shimmering beneath the surface, that passive aggressiveness that Libra energies, sort of like famous for, sort of like slamming the doors or just throwing foods on plate. Well, not throwing, but certainly pushing someone's dinner plate or carving the meat in an not arrogant way, in a passive aggressive way. So, just watch out for that. Just try and speak your truth. Try and create an active listening space where you listen to others and you actually listen to hear, not just listen to respond. Because I'm guilty of it. We all can be guilty of it, where we just listen to, say what we need to say, but really try and listen to the language, the subtleties, the nuances between the words being said. And if you don't understand, say you don't understand. If you need time out, say you need time out. In terms of friendships, it can make us more sort of like sociable, and they can be more enjoyable hanging out with others, and we can deepen our friendship bonds and increase communication and just have a stronger sense of unity with our friends. But negatively, we can become overindulgent, spending too much money or just being superficial because we're people pleasing. So we just need to watch out for being overly accommodating or seeking validation from our friends at the cost of our authenticity. So in terms of co-worker relationships, it supports us in collaborating with others, being diplomatic, and working as a unit, as a team. We can find it easier to connect with our colleagues and resolve conflicts more amicably, more peacefully, where everybody's needs are met, and this can create a more pleasant work environment overall. But negatively, because we can be too focused on maintaining harmony, this can be at the expense of addressing real issues, such as a co-worker's not doing their work, so you and all the other team members are picking up the slack, but you are all kind of scared of this team member sort of thing, and you don't want to address the issue because maybe they're having a hard time at home. But there are ways of addressing confrontations without sort of like, I don't want to say wasting your time, but sort of having draining you and your co-workers sort of like resources. So watch out for avoiding necessary confrontations, that's my point, and or making decisions in your professional relationships. And although someone may have valid reasons for them not doing meeting the targets and stuff, I'm not saying come down heavy on them, but it's always good to address real issues rather than just having tension simmer and then it all explodes out. In terms of committed couples, it can bring a renewed sense of romance, balance and mutual understanding. It's a good time for increasing intimacy, deepening emotional connections and working together towards common goals. But negatively, there can be a tendency to prioritize harmony over individual needs or to avoid difficult conversations that are essential for growth in the relationship. And it's important to ensure that both partners feel heard and valued and supported during this period. And remember that communication is key, especially as you navigate challenges that come up in committed relationships at this time. And communication helps us to maintain healthy, non-toxic relationships and unity and personal authenticity in our relationships. So still being committed and a partnership, but also being an individual as well and authentic to your needs, as well as trying to compromise to meet your partner's needs as well. In terms of hookup relationships, it can increase our sensual experiences, make us more romantic, it can make us more charming, more elegant, have more flair, more swagger, and it can sort of like be more mutual attraction, making encounters more enjoyable and satisfying. Negatively, there can be a risk of getting too caught up in superficial harmony or seeking validation through fleeting connections. So it's important to maintain clear boundaries, communicate openly about expectations, and ensure that both partners are on the same page emotionally. So if you're single, Venus in Libra allows you to work on self-reflection, your personal growth, and developing self-awareness. Also, it's a good energy to focus on your self-care, self-love, and nurturing your individual passions and interests, as well as embracing your own worth and values. And this can lead to a deeper sense of fulfillment and confidence in being single or self-partnered. Negatively, there can be a temptation to sort of like depend on others to give you praise and seeking external validation and just relying on them to validate your self-worth. And it's important that you work on your own, developing your own self-worth from within, doing inner work and shadow work. And it's important to remember that true happiness comes from within and not from external sources. It's important for you to maintain your independence, set boundaries, and prioritize your personal growth and care and understanding. So in terms of self-partnered individuals, Venus in Libra can bring balance and self-love and interpersonal connections with other people, or you integrating all the different sides of yourself, the side of you that likes to, I don't know, be introverted, maybe the side of you that likes to be a little bit introverted, the side of you who wants to go on an adventure, the side of you who's a bit depressed or anxious, just embracing and loving all of your me's. So yeah, it encourages you to embrace your individuality, and it can also create a desire for more meaningful relationships that are based on mutual respect and harmony. But negatively, there might be a risk of becoming too reliant on external validation or seeking approval from others, so that you can feel more complete. And it's important to maintain independence, set clear boundaries, and prioritize personal growth to avoid losing sight of your own worth and values at this time. So now I'm going to talk about how transiting Venus in Libra positively and negatively influences your career, personal, spiritual, and educational development. So yeah, in terms of your career development, it can bring cooperation and harmony in the workplace. It's a great energy to network with, form new partnerships, and work with other people and projects, or even socially. Your ability to communicate more diplomatically and find common ground with colleagues can be increased, but negatively, indecisiveness and being overly focused on maintaining workplace harmony can get in the way of your progress or lead to conflict avoidance. On the personal level, Venus in Libra influences your personal life. You may find yourself more inclined to seek balance and beauty in your surroundings, and this can manifest as a desire to redecorate your home, update your wardrobe, or indulge in artistic projects. Relationships may also benefit from this transit, with focus on harmony, compromise, and mutual understanding. However, there's a risk of becoming overly dependent on others for validation or approval, which can lead to issues if your boundaries are not maintained. Spiritually, it wants us to explore the themes of love and harmony and aesthetics on a more transpersonal level. What's beauty to you? What's central to you? Venus is a very tactile. You may want to, mess around with textures like a fluffy blanket or a silky bed seat, just different textures, fluffy animals, fairy animals, whatever, just different textures, even with your food as well. But yeah, it wants you to have more empathy and compassion. It inspires you to, not only appreciate your own beauty, as I said, but the beauty of the world around you. And you can just feel yourself wanting to be more creative, to nurture your spirit, process your emotions and uplift your spirit as well. But negatively, you can just remember the low side of Libra can be very superficial, so you might just be too focused on surface level relationships or material pleasures over deep spiritual growth and self-reflection, and also, just digging on the surface of spirituality, not seeing it's an endless road. And as someone who's been on it for a while, trust me, it's endless, and the inner and sadder work never ends. But yeah, in terms of educational development, Venus in Libra can make you more drawn to subjects, topics, researching, beauty, the origins of beauty, the different theories on beauty, different ways to look at beauty, different ways of how you can bring balance in your life and harmony in your education. So, some of you may get more interested in literature, psychology, art and design right now, or it's a good energy for those who are already studying these subjects, Also, your genuine learning style may become more cooperative and focus on group projects that emphasise collaboration and, consensus building, agreeing and working together and compromising, well, someone may think, oh, my design idea is the best, and you may think it's yours and try and enforce yours, and then you'd be like, hey, no, let's, collaborate, let's take elements of our different designs and put them together, that sort of thing, But on the negative end, you can be indecisive and prioritise making peace over your academic growth and challenging yourself, so you may, be teamed up with a partner who wants to do a project that's more easier, and you want to do something harder, more to your taste, and you may just go with it. But the key is to try and take ideas from everyone involved and, cooperate and make something that reflects everyone's involved energy. So it's important to find a balance between, aesthetics, keeping harmony, and being intellectually, hardworking at this time as well. Okay, so now I'm just going to finish with the best activities for creative professionals, entrepreneurs, alternative healers, lovers and singles, and self-partnered people to do when Venus is transiting in Libra. So for those who are creative, it's a good time to focus on working with others and partnerships that can bring out the best in your artistic abilities. Consider teaming up with other artists or joining creative workshops to inspire new projects and ideas. Professionals should use this transit to increase their negotiation skills and build a stronger, network and relationships with colleagues and clients. Going to business meetings, networking events can be really, really, pay off at this time as well, because this energy encourages diplomacy and compromise, so you may be more sociable, more, I don't want to say more people pleasery, but yeah, more people pleasery. Entrepreneurs can find success in forming strategic alliances and partnerships with other businesses to increase their brand image and reach a wider audience. It favours win-win situations and mutual beneficial agreements. So, when exploring joint ventures or collaborations, this can lead for opportunities for growth and expansion. So this is really good, working with others, even though it may seem like, we all have to be competition, but no, collaboration can be really, really good. Alternative healers should focus on promoting harmony and balance in their healing practices at this time. So it's good for energy healing, restoring balance in yourself and your clients as well. And it's a favourable energy for attracting clients who are seeking emotional healing and inner peace. Venus in Libra encourages lovers to focus on developing healthy and balanced relationships and communication skills. You can use this time to deepen your bond by engaging in activities that promote mutual understanding and connection. To, cultivate, develop more harmony in your relationship, practice empathy, active listening and generosity towards each other. Plan thoughtful surprises, express gratitude for your partner's presence in your life, and create moments of shared joy and laughter to strengthen your emotional intimacy. Singles can use this energy to attract potential love interest by radiating self-love and confidence, embracing your unique qualities, indulge in self-care practices and remain open to new connections, attend social gatherings, join dating apps or events, and trust that the universe will align you with someone who appreciates your authenticity and values, and focus on building a strong foundation of self-love and self-worth, as this energy will naturally attract partners who resonate with your energy. For those who are self-partnered, it's good to just focus on building more self-love and worth into your life and nurture the relationship with yourself, practicing self-care and embracing your individuality. And by developing this strong sense of love, you will naturally attract relationships that align with your true self, your true essence. And just remember to trust in the process and continue to prioritize your own well-being and happiness. So that's the end of this in-depth guide on what to do when Venus is transiting in Libra. So take care and see you next time.